Our special coverage of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump continues now with some historical perspective. We're joined by presidential historian Douglas Brinkley. Douglas, good morning. Let's just give me the first historical moments that you went to, either to say here's a parallel or this is why this moment is different.
Well, immediately when I saw the photograph of the blood on the face of Donald Trump, I realized that that was going to live eternally, that was a very rare photo that'll be in history books, that will be seen over and over again. But my mind also jumped to Milwaukee. I think Butler County, Pennsylvania, and Milwaukee are going to be tied to the hip in history. And in Milwaukee is where in 1912, Theodore Roosevelt, as the Bull Moose Party for candidate, got shot and continued speaking while he was bleeding. Trump, as a modern-day bull moose, will be going into the arena in Milwaukee, and his MAGA fans, Republicans, are going to give him an ovation that we can't really even imagine yet. This public reunion with Melania, and the cheers of freedom, and four more years, and whatever it's going to be, it's going to be quite a spectacle. So this imagery that's going to stick with us for a long time as we try to unravel what occurred. I mean, why did this 20-year-old shoot at Trump?
And we also, looking back at previous attacks on either candidates or presidents, we have the categories that are political, and then you have what happened with former President Reagan, John Hinckley, which really had no political valence. It was his own personal demons. When you think back to the attempt on George Wallace, the two attempts on Ford, RFK, there was a period there in the late 60s and into the 70s that was a cauldron that led to people to take action violently in some political contexts. People have talked about the rise in political threats and violence on both sides today. Do you see any parallels there or a way out of this in some of the responses that might have happened historically to previous acts of political violence?
Well, I just wrote an essay for Vanity Fair about Grant Park in 1968, where all the riots occurred in Chicago, and everybody was being beaten, and Mayor Daley's police. And since then, we're having the DNC there this August. There is better law enforcement. There is tighter security. FBI does a better job. However, we're seeing massive security breaches. January 6th at the Capitol being one that lives in eternity also. And now seeing a rally in a field, and how in the world did a gunman get to go on top of that building like that and fire that many rounds? So it's going to mean that we have to have amped up security. There's going to be much more surveillance. There might have to be metal detectors, frisk machining, everything imaginable, because we might be in a season of political violence. We hope not. So we got to truncate this, cut it off right at this being a one-offer. But that worry is there, and it also brings conspiracy theories to light that people are going to be arguing back and forth on social media.
Absolutely. Douglas Brinkley, thank you so much for being with us. President Biden strongly denounced the attack on the former president, saying, quote, "We cannot be like this." Let's bring in CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Major Garrett and CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys Anthony Salvanto to talk about this year's campaign and this moment in it. Major, I'll start with you. We've all covered the heated rhetoric and politics, so where do you take this moment right now and this violent episode in the history of what you've covered for so long in politics, but most particularly in the era of Donald Trump?
So, John, we don't know the motive, and that's the most important thing to establish. And until the motive is clear, there's going to be a tremendous conversation about who rhetorically set this off. It's a long, long story. We are not going to get to all of it today. But let's just remind ourselves that two of the people that former President Trump is considering as his running mates, J.D. Vance, a senator from Ohio, Marco Rubio, a senator from Florida, back in 2016 in their own separate ways raised very profound questions about the rhetoric that then candidate Donald Trump was using to try to win the Republican nomination. Those questions have sort of been softened. They no longer question President Trump's rhetoric. They belong to the movement that former President Trump set in motion in 2016 and has carried all the way through. We have the lies about the 2020 election, the Capitol riot, which There was an impeachment trial in the Senate, and several Republicans thought, if not morally or legally, from a political perspective, the president was responsible for that. Plus, you have the resistance movement that started up to President Trump as soon as he was elected in 2016, and very dark Democratic rhetoric about what a Trump presidency either does mean or would mean again in 2024. Everyone will be able to find on social media or in some previous television or cable interview some justification. No, that was the rhetoric that did it, or you went over the line, or you crossed this threshold. Everyone can find something to comfort themselves that they're not to blame. But the atmosphere around former President Trump as a candidate, then as president, now as someone seeking the presidency again, has inflamed both parties in ways unrecognizable to me before Donald Trump became a political actor in this country.